looks like Ted got his all fixed up.
Yeah, I'm in good shape. I was at a doctor's yesterday or last week. I couldn't make it.
Oh, fantastic. I hope you're okay.
But I did go on YouTube and watch it.
Well, I hope everybody likes my hair. Gay cut it.
She did a good job.
Yeah, she did. Actually, she did a great job. I was very pleased. I think I'll start going to her on a regular basis.
You know, when we have
Kent has
Good
Tourette's.
prices too.
you know, we all have so much time right now, and I was going through some old files, some work files, and I came across something, 11 points that Bill Gates made at a high school address, and I want to just read these to you. If you have a minute to do that?
Sure.
Okay, let me just read it. Bill Gates' high school address. This was a while ago, but they're still pertinent. Love him or hate him, he sure hits the nail on the head with this. To anyone with kids of any age, here's some advice. Bill Gates recently gave a speech at a high school about 11 things that they did not learn and will not learn in school. He talks about how feel-good, politically correct teachings create a generation of kids with no concept of reality and how this concept set them up for failure in the real world. Rule 1, life is not fair. Get used to it. Rule 2, the world won't care about your self-esteem. The world will expect you to accomplish something before you feel good about yourself. Rule 3, you will not make $60,000 a year out of high school. You won't be a vice president with a car phone until you earn both. Rule 4, if you think your teacher is tough, wait till you get a boss. Rule 5, flipping burgers is not beneath your dignity. Your grandparents had a different word for burger flipping. They called it opportunity. Rule 6, if you mess up, it's not your parents' fault, so don't whine about your mistakes. Learn from them. Rule 7, before you were born, your parents weren't as boring as they are now. They got that way from paying your bills, cleaning your clothes, and listening to you talk about how cool you thought you were. So before you save the rainforest from the parasites of your parents' generation, try delousing the closet in your own room. Rule 8, your school may not have done away with winners and losers, but life has not. In some schools, they have abolished failing grades, and they'll give you as many times as you want to get the right answer. This doesn't bear the slightest resemblance to anything in real life. Rule 9, life is not divided into semesters. You don't get summers off, and very few employers are interested in helping you find yourself. Do that on your own time. Rule 10, television is not real life. In real life, people actually have to leave the coffee shop and go to jobs. And Rule 11, be nice to nerds. Chances are you'll end up working for one. Very pertinent.
Okay, Karen, it's 12:30. You're on.
All righty. Thank you for that. Before we get started, I do want to let you know about Andy Bunch. His wife has had a stroke, and she's at home. She's under hospice, so please keep them in your prayers. So before we start our meeting, Daryl, would you like to do the honor of giving us an invocation?
Be glad to. May we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this beautiful day. We give you thanks for our ability to gather together as friends, as Rotarians, as fellow citizens. We ask that you lead us and guide us such that all the things that we think, say, and do will be pleasing unto you. We pray particularly today for Quizzy Bunch and pray that you will look after her and make her comfortable. We ask that you lead us and guide us, protect us and direct us, and we ask it all in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daryl.
Well,
And I do want to welcome our visitors on our call, Dawn and Doug. And I want to say hey to Libby. Good to see you again. And good to see you, Sheila. Glad you guys were able to make it today. tomorrow we have an exciting thing planned. We're going to be down at the hospital. Get there about 10:45, and we're going to be doing lunch. We have lunch coming from our caterer, as well as the Pepperoni Grill. So if you could show up at the Dozier Cafe around back, I have 10 of these signs for us to hold up. Also, Mary Beth from the Evening Club, she's going to be there too, and she has all these care packages that she's going to be giving out to the nurses. So it's going to be an exciting time. Also,
Karen, when and where?
at the Dozier Cafe. So what you do is you come into Southport, you're going to make a left at Locals. Go straight ahead. There will be a big parking lot there. So there's plenty of parking so that we can all be socially distancing too at the same time. So we'll all be outside. We're not going to be allowed to go into the hospital. So hopefully a lot of the staff will come out and we can wave and cheer them on. And I will need some help putting up these signs. We can hold them, but I will need some help putting the stands in, and then we can put these all around the hospital. So I think this is going to be fun.
Karen, where should I tell Joe to go? I told him to go to the front of the hospital. Tell me again where he should drop the food off.
Tell him to come over to the Dozier Cafe. If you will give him my number, I'm going to be there. I'll be right there waiting for him, because I have to message the hospital so that they can come out and unlock the door. So if he can meet me there by 10:45, I will be right there waiting on him.
You enter at Locals.
You
Yeah,
enter at Locals.
Go to Locals and turn
There's
left.
yeah, take that road there by Locals, go back through there, and then look behind the hospital. It's behind the hospital is where you're going.
Well, you'll see it straight on.
To the
It's
nursing
Circle
home.
Drive. It's Circle Drive.
Thank you. A street would have been nice. That's good. Circle Drive. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't.
Going to be tabled for us?
Karen, I have the 2 checks to drop off to you this afternoon.
Okay, I will be at my
Yep.
office.
Yep.
As soon as I get done with this call, I'll be there. So,
Yeah. How about around 3 o'clock?
okay, that's perfect.
Is that okay?
And as soon as I get that,
Tips included.
and as soon as I get that check, I will go ahead and deliver it so that Daryl doesn't need to worry with paying. So it'll all be taken care of. Hi, Jeff. I saw you.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
Would you like to share, Jeff, would you like to share about the Polio Plus? I was just reading about that this morning on .DAB about the matching points and stuff. Would you like to share a minute?
Yeah, that'd be great. Anything from $75 to $200. Doug has graciously said that he will match, and so you'll get. Let's say you donate $100. So if you donate the 100, he'll match that, and then of course the Gates Foundation comes in with a 2-for-1 on top of that. Plus you get your 100 points, your foundation points on top of it all. So it's a pretty good deal, but we're getting toward the end here, and we're really trying to make a push to donate as much as possible for Rotary's #1 priority.
And I do believe the deadline for the matching points is June the 10th.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Where do we take the check?
If you would, you can. What we're doing is there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either go online and donate. Okay, or if you want to, you can go into DACDB and look at, and I should have put this in the email, go to Lynn Kelly's email address, or I'm sorry, mailing address, put the check in under the Rotary Foundation, and then in the lower left, put Polio Plus Fund, and just mail it to Lynn Kelly, and she'll take care of it. So if any of that's too confusing, just send me an email, and I'll give you the directions.
Cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let's see, we also have the protein packs. I was just reviewing that this morning. It looks like we've delivered over 15,000 pounds of meat, 8,000 pounds of rice that have been delivered into our district, as well as $15,000 has been given to different agencies that were identified in our particular area. So that is fantastic. We also have the RI convention coming up, and that will be June the 20th through the 26th. And Dawn, do you have anything you'd like to share about the RI convention that's coming up?
Hey, everybody. No, we have not received their, as you know, that was years in the planning. And they are currently, they've just asked us to hold the dates, and they'll be getting information out to us regarding specific sessions. But I'm sure just the AV and getting the speakers lined up. But I expect there's going to be some extraordinary speakers. So hopefully folks can join in, and we'll get the information out to the district as soon as we have it.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And on the Matthews Ministries, I made a delivery this past Monday. People have been leaving stuff at my business as well as the bank where Libby is. And how about you, Leslie? Are you still getting a lot of donations from your neighbors there in St. James?
Well, it looked like it was starting to dry up because for 2 days there was nothing left on my porch, and I was getting stuff every single day. And just when I thought, this might be winding down, some guy pulled up, left 8 huge boxes and 5 bags of so much food you wouldn't believe it. But he also left 20-pound or 10-pound bags of dog food, dog cookies. So I called Christy and I said, I don't suppose you bring this to the school kids. Do you have a use for it, or can I bring it to a shelter? So I ended up bringing it to Brunswick Sheriff's, the Brunswick County Animal Shelter yesterday. But that's all I've had in a week. Wow. So I think either we should continue putting more, and I'd like everybody to use their social media pages because I only have access to the ones that I'm involved with, or maybe we can shift our focus to some other charity that we want to be doing. That was going to be my suggestion.
Yeah. And with Daryl is going to be our new president coming up, and he's going to be working on the district grants. So maybe we want to do a district grant for hunger when we plan out our district grants. So at this time, I think, Daryl, you have a presentation prepared.
Right, I do. And you also had, did you want to talk about your t-shirts?
Well, I think based on some of the information that I've received, we're going to redesign that, maybe with something, we love our community or something like that. We're going to retune that because, you know, it's true. Some people haven't survived COVID, and we don't know how much longer this is going to go on. So maybe something more positive. We support our community, or we love everyone.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it should be different.
There's what it looks like front and back, and it's very pretty and colorful. But I agree with the comments that.
I do too.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see if we can't come up with something a little bit more positive, but we do need to be thinking, because if we're not going to have a lot of the fundraisers that we usually have in 2020, then we need to think outside the box and come up with a way to bring in some revenue so that we can continue to help our community. So be thinking about that and how could we change it? So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Daryl, and you can do your presentation on Rotary going forward.
Okay. Presentation is very simple. We had a meeting on Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and a letter from Doug, and Doug's on the line here. He's listening to us as well, and so is Dawn. But wanted to play this video and bring people up to date on the thinking, and then maybe we can all contribute our ideas as to what to start doing going forward. We've got I'll be absolutely honest with you. I don't know how in the world to handle this thing. And I'm completely void of ideas. So here goes.
Be matched, and any checks after that will not be matched. We do still encourage you to donate, just unfortunately we've had to cut off the match. And the reason we cut off the match is the response from our district. We don't have final figures yet, but it's going to be somewhere in the $26,000 to $27,000 range.
Can everyone see it?
From you, yeah, applause, because that's just absolutely wonderful. 1,850 Rotarians in 49 clubs in the 14 counties we cover have donated about more than $25,000, which we will match dollar for dollar. So we're going to have $50,000 or more going directly to those in need. And we're using that to buy these protein packs that's up there on the screen. It's a 12-pound assortment of meats and fish. And they're being distributed through the Salvation Army, but to social service agencies in the counties, and many of you are helping us find the right agencies to get the food to. And yes, the distribution has been a little rocky and bumpy, but please bear with us. It's just Nancy Barbie and Laura Hagerman in Batesville Club are the two people coordinating all of these, and in some cases takes quite a lot of effort to get it done. If any of you are bored and want to help with the distribution, they would sure use some volunteers. I know John Moore has helped for Brunswick County, and Norm Rogers is helping for multiple Zoom meetings over several days, and have come up with some general policies. This is not anything formal yet, but this is the general direction that the Rotary Board of Directors is advising at this point. Biggest one is right at the top. Rotary is strongly discouraging all in-person meetings through December 31st, 2020, from the end of this calendar year, not the early year. And the Rotary annual liability insurance for clubs more than likely will not provide COVID-related insurance for by and large, there probably will be no Rotary International insurance covering COVID-related illnesses associated with COVID. And there, below that, are several things that the Board of Directors have said. The health and safety of all participants is of paramount importance. And no in-person meeting or event shall be mandatory for any Rotary participant. All conveners and organizers of Rotary meetings are encouraged to consider health concerns in deciding about in-person meetings. And a key part of that is if you do decide to have an in-person meeting and some number of your members decide to stay away for health-related reasons, how are you going to get them involved? It can be very difficult if 75% of your friends in a meeting and 25% is at home for very good reasons. But you've got to keep that in mind, how you will stay in touch with the people who don't come. And district governors are strongly encouraged to use virtual meetings for all club visits during the calendar year of 2020. Now I'm going to kick it over to Dawn because that last sentence kind of guts her plan for the next 6 months. So let's hear what Dawn has to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. You know, and as I start off by saying, we're going to go through several slides and then we'll open it up to kind of have some conversations with folks. And we really do want to just talk about sort of like what we know and like what's been given. We make sure that we are super transparent to the clubs. But, you know, it's like when I started this, I said, you know, hey, I'm an extrovert. Like, I want to see people. I am very humbled and honored to be able to serve in leadership in this district, as I know all of you are, and in your clubs. And this is kind of the daunting task because Rotary meets and we meet in person for the majority of our history. And so we just want to kind of be able to think through. We want to be able to process with what we know, not overreact, not spin. I think probably most of the people on this call are in leadership positions. And Doug and I intentionally, and we really, you know, you sort of cascade this information is really going to determine the future of your club, the future of Rotary in our district. What we know is that we really need Rotary, just as all the projects that, you know, Doug mentioned, you know, that's our leverage, and we know that our communities need it. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes going through like what we know, and then some guidance where we think clubs could have conversations right now. And then sort of what our goal. Doug serves, and we've got several past district governors on the line, and they are going to be invaluable and have been invaluable in their counsel to Doug and I, as has his own leadership, so that we get real-time information to you. But Doug serves as the constitutional officer for Rotary International, and so it's vitally important that, you know, he's plugged in, I'm plugged in, and that everybody around us is plugged in, so that we can help the district and what Rotary means to Southeastern North Carolina. So what we know, I'm going to move my window down here to the bottom, is this is a great picture representation of where we are in North Carolina, given the governor's order. And I like pictures, so I like a lot of information, but I like it condensed into a picture. And due to the staged approach to lifting the stay-at-home order in North Carolina, clubs are not currently meeting in person. Based on the above RI guidance, clubs are encouraged to suspend meeting in person through the remainder of this calendar year. Clubs are required to follow, of course, local government health guidelines for in-person or on in-person meetings and social distancing. And then, as Doug has already mentioned, they are reviewing with RI the risk management and that liability insurance that covers us all. What does that mean? How do we go forward with that? So it has a lot of implications. So what we know is that helping our communities mitigate and recover from COVID-19 is the business of Rotary. We are about disease prevention and treatment and economic and community development. Rotary has a global reputation of getting work done. We all know that. And Rotary leverages desperately needed resources for communities. So we have such an incredible foundation for us to stand on. And so I know there's questions coming in, but I'm going to keep going through my slides, if that's okay, and then I'll check the chat. So really this is sort of about, so given what we know, then how do we move forward as a district and as a club? And we want to recognize that mental health is the center of gravity for the future. I would say that we have a greater opportunity. You know, every district governor, I think, really sort of bonds with their themes and doesn't think there can be a better program than was before. And of course, Holger's 2020's theme is Rotary Opens Opportunities. Our governor class is added to Holger's theme and says Rotary opens opportunities and opportunities open Rotary. And, you know, everybody's going to deal with uncertainty a little differently. Some people that we interact with are just going to say, forget it. If I can't come to the table, forget it. Like, call me when we're open again, I'm out. Everybody is going to do this differently. I can tell you that I have had a lot of emotions about this. I feel as prepared as I can be to be a district governor for Rotary with all of the resources that have been put into me and the leadership that I do. It's prepared to be a district virtually. Just like all of you who are going to serve as a club president, maybe again, maybe for the first time, you know, we show up at meetings and we lead meetings, and it's very different to sort of communicate in this way. And then knowing expectations, setting realistic goals and objectives is going to be so very key so that we can all be communicative about where we are in the process. So this is some sort of things that Doug and I, again, we've been cross-sharing across our district governor classes, like anything I get, and we're trying to be really good models of transition leadership and pass the batons back and forth. And those clubs right now, like for me, I'm highly engaged in Rotary. I don't sit on my club board. And so if you're in that same situation, you know, being willing to pick up the phone and call, that's one of my to-do lists. Because there are some next steps for club operations that you kind of need to talk about, right? Because ultimately, and that's why we sent the email that we did just to club and district leadership, because we wanted you to kind of be able to absorb some of this, because no one in leadership likes to feel incompetent. You want to feel like you have some control of the information and some distance to be able to make some thoughts and decisions and ask some questions ahead of time. And so we want to make sure that we are really supporting club leadership, as well as you be having time to go to your past club leadership to make some decisions. You know, you need to decide about club meetings virtually if you're not already doing that, and be consistent with them. We need to reinforce, because this has become such a political, it can be a very political subject. And we have to reinforce that Rotary is not a political organization. We have to make sure that we stay very calm and very convicted in that. And decide what conditions must be true for your club if you decide to move forward. And for smaller clubs, when the orders lift, you know, unfortunately, I'm not necessarily going to be able to show up right now, nor is Doug. And we're not encouraging or discouraging, but you have to take in all of this information yourself and for your club. And you have to decide what conditions must be true to meet in person. In the next slide, I'm going to give you some questions that the district governor classmate of Doug out of 7710, which is our Raleigh district, put together to think about for her clubs in her district. And it's pretty intense, but I wanted you to see some questions. Phase 3 of the North Carolina plan will likely begin at the end of June or sometime in July. During this phase, social distancing and perhaps wearing of masks will be still required. I would guess it will, especially for vulnerable individuals. This will impact how we conduct anything Rotary. Club leaders should begin considering today how they will handle this. And so, some sample questions for club boards that want to meet in person. So, when we think about the guidance, because this is an issue of public health, if you don't have access, I heard Bill Campa saying that they've already had the county manager on one of their calls, you know, talking to their club about that. The beauty of virtual meetings is you can have people from all over the world pop into your meetings, and that's what people have been doing. So have the public health director, because the public health director is the one that you're going to call if you suspect that someone has come to your meeting that is positive. And so we have to know what to do, just like in business. We have to know what the next step is if someone walks into our business. I think all of you know, I lead a nonprofit. We are closed to the public right now. We are going through all kinds of iterations and gyrations and UV lights and gloves and PPE and all of these things to make sure that we can still see children. So, you got to figure out, like, spacing wise, like how do we do this? I would have never thought of this, but some traditions should be modified or limited to reduce the risk. Singing may be a risky behavior. Happy dollars, cart buckets, anything that you touch and transfer, you have to go through very intentionally all of those things. And again, regardless of what your personal belief are or your personal actions, if you have a title after your name, you are responsible. And so what are you going to do? What is your action going to be? And so if a person becomes ill, how will you notify others that attended the meetings with them? The district will be providing a liability waiver template and sign-in sheet for this purpose. They are really strongly encouraging that if you decide to move forward, that you have some way of mitigating risk for Rotary and your club. Encouraging the members to wash and sanitize their hands. If you're going to continue to use a podium or any of those things, how do you kind of keep that? We're a hugging culture, we're a shaking hands culture. How do we sort of mitigate all of these risks? And because we're going to be meeting virtually for some months, we encourage each club board of directors to work with the club's venue and implement an appropriate adjustment to the dues meal cost structure to reflect changes in overhead costs. The district will be doing these things too. Doug has gone through his budget with the finance team. Our finance committee structure has evolved. We will be doing this for 2020-21 as well. How can we use any dollars to either offset the cost for the Rotarians or to invest further in projects? I know my personal club has already met and they have already waived dues for the fourth quarter of the year. So we encourage you to be very thoughtful about your club's chosen projects and how you raise funds. Be sensitive to the organizations that you support because they're in need of funds right now. And also your Rotarians, especially if you have Rotarians that have had income loss, changes in situations. And I told Doug I was on a 2 o'clock Zoom call with my classmates, and one of the clubs out of the Virginia district, because they are a nonprofit and they were counting on a fundraiser that they historically hold and could not, they actually applied under the nonprofit section for the CARES Act and have already received money to use in lieu of doing that club project. I would have never thought of that, so I'm just passing it along, but that would be something that your board and your club leadership would need to make a determination of if you wanted to do something like that. So what we are doing in our district is we are on more calls for different reasons, and we have formed a COVID response committee that will stand up, which I will probably need all of my service year as governor. But our role in district leadership is to support all clubs and all Rotarians as Eastern North Carolina needs Rotary. We know that we need Rotary. So I'm going to stop there and go to the chat.
Okay, Karen, that's all I had. I've unmuted everybody, and I think wow, we're still here. I figured I'd lost some.
So is this happening across the United States, or is it just North Carolina?
Dawn?
I'd like to make one important note on there. Fairly early in the presentation, it said that Rotary International's guidance is not to host face-to-face meetings during the remainder of calendar 2020. That guidance has changed. There's, we don't need to get into all the runarounds, but they are first and foremost urging safety for all Rotarians. Secondly, asking that each club correspond to state and local guidance about meetings, whatever that guidance may be, and that will change regularly and often. And third, that we take into account some of the many factors that Dawn had in a couple of those slides there toward the end on how do we hold these meetings safely, Do we have meals at our meetings? You know, if you're required to wear a mask, that pretty well excludes the possibility of having a meal during that meeting. And most importantly, how do we engage the Rotarians who, for whatever reason, are not comfortable coming to a face-to-face meeting or just not able to? You know, somebody might fall and break their leg tomorrow, and that means they can't get out. But there is not specifically a sentiment from Rotary International about face-to-face club meetings. It's more that we obey local guidelines and do our best to keep people safe. And of course, the liability issue is potentially huge. The insurance committee is going to be meeting in late May, and we'll announce more details after that. But it is possible right now that Rotary liability insurance will not cover COVID-related illness after July 1st. And again, we don't know the answer to that. But Karen, in answer to your question, this guidance is worldwide. So it's not just North Carolina, it's not just the United States, it's 32,000 clubs in 200 plus something countries.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Well, thank you for that. Are there any questions that you guys might have?
This is Ted Eckenhoff. Darryl, do you want me to meet you at the pizza shop? I've got a pickup truck. We'll easily handle the 30. And it's covered so it won't get cold going over.
Nice.
If you want to, Ted, if you want to, you know where Oak Island, the pepperoni grill is on Oak Island?
No, I don't, but I can find it. Where is it?
You know, I'll tell you offline.
Okay.
All right, so I need to find out how many plan to show up tomorrow. So if you can either email me, text me, let me know so I can be looking for you, because I do need at least 10 people. Well, 9 people, if possible.
And that's 10:45.
Yes, sir.
Karen, will there be tables and napkins and things to cut the pizza and stuff like that there?
Well, as I had mentioned earlier, we're not allowed inside the hospital.
No.
So we're going to be in the parking lot.
Yeah, we'll be outside, but everything, I mean, we're just going to deliver the food. And I'm sure the pizza's going to be sliced. You know, I'm sure they have paper plates or napkins. I didn't really think about all that kind of stuff. So
We're not eating, right?
No.
Okay.
no, sorry. But if you could let me know if you're going to be there, that way I'll be watching for you. So that's really all I have today. And I do want to say thank you for Dawn and Doug for you guys being on. And we will be back next week. So if any of you know of some speakers we can bring in, that would be fantastic so that we can plan out for the rest of the month of May and June.
Let's open it up to Dawn and Doug and see what words of advice they have for us. On Monday night or Monday afternoon's program, they gave us kudos for what we were doing on Thursday, and several of the other clubs are going to emulate what we're planning on doing in terms of feeding the nurses, because Thursday is recognized our healthcare workers. That is nomination for that. So why don't, Dawn, do you have anything to say?
Sure. Well, you know, I'm an extrovert and I get to see people. It's kind of fun. Sure. No, I think, honestly, I think you need to keep doing what you're doing. You know, I think that your club, and obviously I've visited with your club, and I'm glad that I've had that experience already. You know, you guys have done such amazing things this Rotary year with your Taste of Brunswick. Am I saying that right, Darryl?
No, Chefs of Brunswick.
Chefs of Brunswick, sorry. You know, you showed up when we fed the hungry, you know, we did Rise Against meal packing. You have donated to the protein packs. You're showing up to say thank you so much to your nursing staff and to your medical staff in your area. And honestly, you know, Rotarians want to do something. You know, they want to do something. They want to show up and they want to do something. And so even just like coordinating the pickup of the pizzas, you know, is why this meeting is important. And keeping in touch with your membership and keeping them engaged, and knowing that this is going to be a fluid situation, as Doug and I keep saying. We send out the messages of Rotary International because we want to be transparent and do so. It's also a situation that we know that, you know, today may look different than tomorrow, and we hope it does in this situation and that it's a better tomorrow. But just know that we're here to support you. We're here to help you think through things. We're here to give you guidance and support. And we want you, I mean, you guys have done such an amazing job with your district grants this year. You know, I see Mary and Peter with your robotics, and I know the kids are missing you. I know you're missing them right now. And then your free libraries, raising a reader. I mean, you guys do Rotary. You guys do Rotary. We're just all doing it a little differently right now.
What is this notice about voting? What are we voting on?
I'll let Doug explain that one.
Yeah. There are certain things that the clubs and the district have to do during the course of each Rotary year, and a couple of them involve in-person voting by a club delegate. And typically these are done at the district conference, but since we're not having a district conference before June 30th, we have to do them by what's called a club ballot measure. Karen, did you want to say something?
No, I'm sorry. My neighbor was waving at me.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so we have to vote on 4 or 5 separate items. It was all detailed. It went to club presidents elect. One of them is an audit of the financial report submitted by past District Governor April. Another is the official appointment of Jeff Mount as our District Governor nominee designate. He was voted into that position by the Council of Governors in December. And there are other ones that I can't bring to mind right this second. Hang on just one sec, I can tell you what they are. But in any event, the voting is all being done online and it's open now. Each club gets 1 vote, except for large clubs who get multiple votes based on the number of members in their club. So here's the list. The audit of past Governor April, approved the District Finance Committee's recommendation to keep the district dues at $54 per Rotarian per year. Third one is approve the District Finance Committee's recommendation to keep the district emergency fund assessment of $2 per Rotarian per year. Approve District Governor-elect Dawn's proposed budget for Rotary year 2020-21, and approve Jeff Mount. So those are 5 separate items that have to be voted. One person from the club should go online and say, yes, you approve, or no, you do not approve each of those 5 items. And that's pretty simple. It should take a grand total of about 3 minutes to cast your votes.
Okay. Karen?
I am just now casting my vote.
Okay. And I would like to echo Dawn's comments on what a great job the Southport Rotary Club is doing with all the various projects you're involved with, contributing to buying the protein packs, helping distribute them, taking care of your nurses tomorrow. Just you guys are on top of things and doing great stuff in the community, and thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to both of you for being on our call today. And we are looking forward to tomorrow. So reach out to me, let me know if you're going to show up, and I'll be looking for you. And until we see each other again, let's end our call with the Rotary motto.
Karen,
Service
Service above self.
we still have a few minutes. Why are we ending the call?
Well, we can, but we can continue to talk if you like.
Well, only because we haven't heard from some people on the call. If you guys are all done, I'm good.
No, we haven't heard from Josh. We
Haven't heard from Josh or Mark.
or
I was looking forward for a joke from Mark. I need something to cheer me up.
Already.
You don't have a joke, Mark?
Wait a minute.
You're in.
I don't.
you know.
I don't have. I can't think of anything right now that's that funny.
No.
About something that's just plain old dirty.
Or that's you can repeat in mixed company, right?
What did you tell us, Mark? What did you tell us last week about somebody scratching a sticker off their vehicle? The Terrific Kids sticker.
Oh yeah, one of my neighbors. I saw one of my neighbors scratching "My kid is a terrific student" sticker off their car. I don't think that homeschooling is going as well for them as they had hoped.
Sheila, we haven't heard from you for a while.
I actually got to jump off to get on another call. It's good to see you. I just put a little message in there. If you guys end up with any extra signs, I'd love to have one. Our crew out here is doing a great job.
Okay, we'll save them.
And maybe over at Novant, but it's good to see everybody.
You too.
Bye-bye.
I'd like to know how Kent does that background every week.
It actually is pretty easy. Just go to your virtual settings. If you see up in the down at the bottom or top, whatever, you see where you have that video, stop video.
Oh yeah.
All right. See a little arrow to the side of it?
Yes.
Go up areas and see video settings.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you come up and you see virtual background.
No, I've got stop video and I've got 2 arrows.
Where's that?
Well, hit the right arrow.
Look at Mary and Peter.
Northern Lights.
Okay.
Virtual settings.
Yes.
All right, click on that virtual settings, and then you can go to pick different screens, or you can add anything, any picture you have on your laptop. You can add to it.
I'd like to touch up my appearance.
Well, you can do that too. That's called a blank screen.
Oh, Ted Brewer has a phone call, huh?
Oh my! I spotlight.
What I have there is
hide none.
If you used one of these, stay home. You're in the high risk group.
I like touch up my appearance best.
I think Bob has a question, and you can unmute.
Photoshop.
There you go, Bob.
Yes, thank you. Are we having a video board meeting coming up?
Yes, sir. Next week.
Okay, and with Andy being questionable, Brenda is the assistant secretary. Does she need to step in and come to the board meeting and do other things that Andy was doing?
Well, Andy asked me to fill in for him while he's out. And
Yes,
he did
ma'am.
ask me to do the minutes for the next board meeting.
Yes, ma'am. If you can be there, that would be awesome. We'll do it at the same time we always do at 11.
Could we meet in face-to-face if we stay 10 feet apart?
As long as there's less than 10 of us.
Well, how would that work on the board?
As long as we're 6 feet apart.
What do y'all think?
I like that idea.
Yeah.
So we could actually go to the chamber and meet in our regular places, just spread out across the room.
But then we'd have to get back home to get on the meeting by 12, right?
Yep.
Because or we could do it from there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
How could you do it from there?
She has the internet there.
So we could do a Zoom call from there with the membership.
But you couldn't stay.
Karen's bandwidth is terrible. If Sheila were on the line, she'd probably tell you the bandwidth is terrible.
At the chamber?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We could always have the meeting like in your front yard. Everybody bring their own chair.
Or we could do it at 10:30.
Why don't we have the meeting earlier?
Yep, 10:30, and then get home in time for this call.
Yeah.
You decide, Karen, and then do it. How about a program? I'm up a creek without a paddle on programs for the rest of the year.
Can we just have a membership? I mean, a general
discussion?
Yeah.
Next week, yeah.
Without a speaker?
So we just have a what we call a club meeting?
Concerns, discussion,
meeting?
concerns, yeah.
Assembly. We haven't had an assembly this year.
Assembly. That's the word.
How about some classification speeches?
Yeah. I think Dave Morgan would be excellent at that.
You don't want to listen to me for that long.
Ken's pictures of Africa. We haven't seen them.
Yeah, Ken.
We see the lion, we saw the giraffes, but you know.
You're seeing one now.
Tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I would nominate. Ken. I like that. I like that idea.
Nah, Peter's got a lot better pictures than I do of Africa.
That's a good elephant shot, though.
Yeah, now we were right in front of them. About 50 of them.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you get to pat them?
No, we didn't quite walk that close.
I don't. Not quite. Oh, Ted's doing.
Daryl, one thing I haven't seen is anything on the foundation, our foundation, which we set up last year. If we got any report on that, that might be something you guys at the board meeting or whatever.
That's Clay. That's your job. I'm not on the board. Mary is the treasurer. Clay's the chair. And who's your board, Clay?
Well, that's a good question, and I don't have the list because I'm in the mountains and it's at the coast, so I don't have any of that with me. That is.
That should be a program in a couple of weeks when you get back.
I can do that. I think it'll be the end of the month before I get back.
Clay, I have received a check from the Southport Rotary Club for the foundation. So we have money in the foundation account for our local charities. So you and your committee need to decide who is getting funds this year.
Clay, you froze up.
And that's a great flip position to be on pause because, excuse me, maybe if I don't move. The issue really has been, at least I've not pursued it too aggressively because we might want to see what our needs were going to be as the changing environment of
Can't hear you.
Hey,
He's breaking up.
Drop to hell. Hey, Dawn.
I'm going to sign off.
Try to get some money to get matched by the protein. And so I guess I need some direction on how to proceed next for our committee, because I don't know that the standards, although the standard things we normally would be considering are probably needing money, but it may not be where our priorities are now. Obviously, like this protein project, that comes along and it's not something that's normally out there. and we just kind of want to have cash to take advantage of those kind of opportunities, I would think. And my guess is this goes on a while and that we haven't seen the worst of it yet, as far as the needs for the community.
That's probably true.
So I don't know whether we should just dole it out in phases, or I mean, we could go ahead and just use it all, blow it all now, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure the organizations can use it, but then we'll have nothing if something bigger and better comes along, or something that's particularly worthwhile that we wish we could have had with.
Well,
I don't know how to play the game.
I think, Clay, we should make it a priority.
You all have any insight?
I think that we should make it a priority as to the needs of the community. So hunger is obviously more of a need than some of the others. So I think we need to just analyze who we're giving the grants to and how much of the community they are addressing the current needs, which obviously hunger is the biggest one right now.
Well, let's say we use Stephen's ministry, the backpack
Matthew's ministry
project. I mean, the Matthews ministry, excuse me. Matthews ministry, thank you. If we were using that project, that certainly would be a worthwhile cause. But if another opportunity comes along in 2 weeks or 3 weeks that says, hey, we will match it if you can contribute, we would, if we shut our wad now, we wouldn't have anything to spend then. Do we do a quarter of the money over every other month and try to disseminate it that way?
That's it. I like that.
Well, Matthew's ministry, I talked to Jason last week or so, because I was going to write them a check, and he said they have a lot of money right now. He said,
yeah,
people, thanks to Leslie, and he said they really been very blessed, and so he suggested
they're in good shape.
That's what we heard at Trinity too, that they're okay.
New Brunswick. So I think that's. I do think everybody's giving a lot of money to these food banks and everything. So right now they're probably okay. Maybe in September when people stop giving, you might want to take another look at that.
Hey, Daryl, what about your friend out there? What about your friend out there at the women's shelter?
Yeah, I really don't know what the situation is with Hope Harbor right now. I know the demand is there, but I also know that as Kent has said, there's been a lot of donations. People have really been kind-hearted, and I don't know, but we haven't received any of one of those checks that they were talking about, but I know a lot of people who have and have considered that as windfall and have donated some of those monies that they've received to charity.
I know, Debbie is president of Brunswick Little Theater, and somebody stopped by one of the board members' house last week and said, here's a little check to help you guys. I know you need it. It was $2,500 check.
Yeah.
And Brunswick Community College, yesterday, we just got a notice from an organization. They're writing us a $10,000 check. So, we're seeing stuff now at Trinity Methodist. We haven't seen that, but we have in other organizations. So I think right now, but let's see what happens this fall if this thing continues.
The food pantry's gotten a lot of financial donations too.
Yeah.
They got $50,000 in 1 month.
Yeah.
Clay, do you think you want to?
What do we do with this money? Do I sit on it? Just
I like that.
Why don't we put it off for another 30 days and see what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your area.
How much do you have in? How much is in that account?
7,500.
In the foundation?
No, we have just over $5,000
In the foundation.
Yeah.
I think we look at it and, probably this fall, September or something, people
Yes,
might
I
need a little
agree.
bit more.
I agree.
Plus, we'll see what the effect is, you know, if we have a second wave,
Yeah.
and people become unemployed again, you know, who knows?
And I don't know that if we broke it into 5 groups and if we only have $5,000, it's only $1,000 a clip,
Yeah.
and not that that's insignificant, but it's not going to change anybody's world.
No.
But on the other hand, I'd hate to go through the whole thing not having taken advantage. I mean, used it, and find that we're on the other side of it, and the world's rosy.
There'll always be needs. There'll
Oh,
always
yes.
be needs.
Oh, yes.
If we have a hurricane this fall, there will be some needs.
Yeah, and that's another thing. They are predicting
Yeah.
hurricanes this coming
It's
year.
going to be supposedly a bad season.
Yeah.
Darryl, what about the Rose House?
She's gone.
No, I'm here.
Oh, I thought you said. I thought you said no.
Actually, Debbie Wood and Hope and I are going to be down there tomorrow afternoon.
Uh-huh.
They have been receiving lots of money, and they're waiting to get the general contractor to finish up the Rose House. But I'll know more tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. I think that would be something to consider.
Oh, yeah.
Especially during this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody becomes aware of an urgent need, they could bring it up to the club, to the board. And otherwise, we revisit it 30 days from now, like I'm saying.
That'd be fine.
Before we end, can I just ask a question? Has anybody heard from Rick Pierce on how he's doing? No? Okay.
I don't know if they put off his surgery or not. He was planning surgery.
I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, he could actually, those people that are sick and homebound can actually be participating in these Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of our membership join them too, because these calls are great.
Yeah.
By the way, we're looking for speakers. Karen, did you talk to Linda at the hospital? Linda Stanley?
Not lately.
Well, I think she'd be definitely willing to speak.
Should be great.
So she's a good speaker. So I would call her and just ask her. It'd be easier for her to do on a Zoom too.
Yes.
Maybe an update on hospital and just what they're seeing with
That's a
COVID-19.
great idea.
With the chat.
I would actually like to hear from Tom Seamers. I'd like to know how his transition went and what's happening out in Texas. I think he would make an excellent program. Kent, what do you think?
It's up to you guys. I mean,
sour grapes?
I just think he's down there. And I doubt if he's been down there long enough to really know what's going on.
Does anybody know how to get in touch with him?
He probably still has his cell phone.
Is that it?
Probably.
I doubt it.
Maybe we could get the police chief or the mayor.
We can get plenty of speakers, but the question is, who do you want? I have a couple of other people, but
That's it. Post it. We gotta go.
Bye, Peter.
Bye.
Y'all know that you got those chat boxes up there, and there have been messages coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So